Likewise, when you talk about school safety, and I know this was another question that was going to come up today, I am biased here too. This one, I watched my language and I didn't get too upset, but I heard a lot of things said in the media about the men and women of our school safety division. And I think there was some political statements here. What I didn't like was that they said these individuals shouldn't be in the schools, and it was inferring that they're detrimental to the kids. The men and women of our school safety division, Brian, if you want, you can say something afterwards, because Brian used to be in charge of them, are some of the most dedicated men and women you will ever see. They are, if you look around this audience, they are your sisters, they are your mothers, they are your grandmothers, they are predominantly people of color. I was a little taken aback because we have been called a racist organization. There is no doubt there is racism in New York City, and there is no doubt there is racism in the New York City Police Department. There is racism in humanity, and I think we all need to speak about it. But when you label an entire, I would go back to my earlier statements about coming together rather than throwing stones and throwing statements that are only going to drive people further apart. Like Judy said, this is the answer to hate. The answer to hate is coming together and having hard conversations. But to say that the NYPD is racist and therefore you don't want the men and women of the school safety division in the schools. I mean, Brian, that must have really taken effect with you. They are people of color, almost all of them in the school safety division. And they think of those kids, I am telling you, and this is the truth, as their own children. They love them. And that was more money. I mean, listen, it was a very tough end of May and June. And I personally believe that probably some things were done in haste that some people probably would like to go back and maybe rethink. That's okay. People make mistakes. We make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. The important thing is to come together, whether it's internal policies for the NYPD, and we're constantly evaluating our policies, whether it's other layers of city government or anyone else. How do we get to where we want to be? How do we get to where we want to be, certainly with the resources that we have, because the resources are a significant issue. I don't have to tell anyone in this room, not just for the police department, but for the entire New York City government, and I would say the state as well.
So, you was going to speak?
Our school safety agents that I worked with for 7 years, there is not a much more caring group of people about the children in their schools. And when I see the relationships that they had, not only with the students, but with their principals, I went to more events where the principals over and over again say, I love my school safety agent. Relations with the parents, with the teachers, with the whole school staff, it's amazing to see. You know, many times in most of the schools, there's only one school safety agent. For all our elementary schools, only one. And many other schools only have 2 or 3. And they're helping to secure and keep this safe, you know, thousands, sometimes children inside the school. So they are hearts are in their job. By the way, they love being part of the NYPD. All right, so I will say that, you know, this was a mistake, and it will be, people will recognize that in time. So thank you.